This edition of the prime time newscast on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, several families have been deprived of their source of livelihood by a fire incident. The fire incident occurred at Nkwen in Bamenda, northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. We'll bring to you details in this newscast. And human rights defenders in Cameroon say that a serious civil war is looming on the country following the rise in hate and hate speech propagation on social media. They are pointing an accusing finger on government and political authorities or officials, saying that they are at the front line of the promotion of hate speech in the country. And out of Cameroon, police in Ghana say at least 5 persons have been killed in election violence, and the main opposition presidential candidate denies report that he conceded after later circulated falsely claiming that he did so. Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news. We're beginning right away in the town of Bamenda, northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where at least 6 stores have been consumed by flames in Nkwen. The fire incident has deprived several persons of their source of livelihood. Details in this report compiled by Sumanjik and Gabriel.
One time! Inhabitants of cave entrance in Nkwen neighborhood struggling to save some vehicles as flames engulfed a resident. In the course of their struggle, the Army Rescue Unit of Bamenda also arrived to add more hands. It was about 8 p.m. Tuesday night when the fire started. We were drinking when we were called that a house was burning. As we ran to rescue things from the house, we realized it was our store. Many things inside got burned, even though we managed to remove some. We are begging on government to come to our aid.
I beg all the government, say where see begin the way fire happen for them like this. At least they to try where we if they try support the people, then let the tribe go back the way they manage their life.
This Wednesday, Equinoxe TV crew descended to the scene, and the destruction left behind by the fire was very visible.
I will get this room house where I don't can rent for this man. We pay every month. I will pay us every month.
I took a loan to equip my store, but unfortunately, all got burnt alongside the items inside. About 133,000 francs cash also got burnt.
I don't like my taste because they can't call me for how they can't call me for one can reach way. All things don't really go down.
First of all, I've been a retired civil servant.
As a retired civil servant, I sell oil and banana, but everything got burnt alongside 200,000 francs cash.
So all the capital will be small money will be get and borrow some journal. Money don't burn for me for house here more than 200,000.
Most of those affected by the inferno had borrowed money from microfinance institutions, hoping to make proceeds before going to repay their debts. Unfortunately, this fire has rendered them hopeless. Even though the cause of the inferno is yet to be established, fingers are pointing at an electricity pole that has always produced sparks at ungodly hours in the neighborhood.
And Kumba in the Meme Division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, panic and fear and as well as commotion hit the farm road Fiango neighborhood in the town of Kumba following a gun shot allegedly coming from soldiers. Our sources indicate that soldiers were running after an alleged separatist fighter and they shot at him, and of course the sound of the gun raised panic and fear and provoked commotion in the neighborhood as students were being taken out of school by their parents. Pupils and students were being taken out of school by their parents, and some of the schools are said to have shut down because of that incident. And this is coming barely not long after some students, 7 of them were killed in a school still in Kumba, notably in the Mother Francisca International Bilingual College or Academy. And this incident today provoked fear, panic and commotion in the Farm Road Fiango neighborhood in the Kumba. On to something else now. Human rights defenders in Cameroon say a dangerous civil crisis wave is looming in Cameroon following the rise in hate and hate speech propagation on social media. According to some of the human rights defenders who were speaking to us today here in Douala, the hate speech is being propagated mostly by government and political officials. From Yamson Sandra has more.
Cameroon is at the verge of bursting into a chaotic social crisis if nothing is done to reverse the green tribalism, hate and the propagation of hate speech on and off the social media, according to defenders of human rights. Meeting in a debate on launch at the headquarters of the Network of Defenders of Human Rights in Central Africa, REDAC officials identified the context which has favored the growth of hate speech among people initially united in diversity.
The democratization of hatred toward certain communities and has weakened our democracies by favoring the blossoming of hate speeches, leading at the same time to a withdrawal of identity and tribalism.
To experts present, top government officials in Cameroon propagate hate and hate speech with few examples which contributed to the escalation of the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
Minister Issa Kiruma Bakari said Anglophones are an insignificant minority. Minister Jacques Famino said, what can you do? Anglophones are just like 2 cubes of sugar in a bucket of water. Minister of Justice said, when the consortium will crumble, the lawyers, students constitute the consortium, will run to the government as what? As beggars. Our governor, Bernard, said, if dogs continue to take to the street to protest and bite, they will meet security forces. And this a lot has contributed in the violence, in the calamities, in the issues that the people from these regions are being faced with, because it sparked a lot of controversy.
Beyond adopting measures to fight the social danger, experts say the laws in Cameroon against hate should be applied.
We need us all to look at the law, the enactment that our president did on the 24th of December, and said this should be done. Defaulters, those who do this, will face the law, will go 3 years in prison with a fine of 3 million francs. This should be implemented, but still, we still have people going about doing the same, committing the same act with nothing in return, like they're not being served what they deserve. So it is time for us to like take the bull by the horn and say enough. And how do we say enough? We need to monitor to ensure that these laws that are being enacted are being practicalized and not only being put on paper. So I think that's basically what my presentation is all about, and thank you very much.
The debate on launch took place within a series of exchanges marking the celebration of the International Human Rights Day, whose theme this year is Rebuilding Better. REDAC officials say Cameroon needs reconstruction, and the reconstruction can only be successful.
With the increase in crime wave within the Cameroonian society and security challenges affecting the country almost everywhere, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, top security officials in the country are enhancing efforts to improve on the capacity of security officers to fight the rising crime wave and the security challenges across the country. This is the purpose of the training given to 25 security officers at the International School of Security Forces. The training takes place in Douala. Details in this report with Innocent Azing.
The Littoral region once again welcomes another batch of trainees of the International School of Security Forces. This batch of students from Cameroon, Congo, Ivory Coast and Mali are visiting with a different preoccupation and objective.
Last time they came with an aim. This one there's another aim. They want to see how the role of the administrative authority as far as the security crisis done in our region. So we were glad to meet them and to see that they were very interested to see how we are managing those crises.
Their trip in Douala is also to learn what they have been taught theoretically in school with the practical realities in the field.
We are now, for us planificators, we are supposed to master what is really on the ground. We are supposed to know how within a crisis, different authorities can act, everyone at his own level.
Discovering the security forces in Douala will be an added opportunity for acquaintance and operational skills gathering.
And according to what the governor told us, you have three main actions for the authority, administrative authority. First of all, the information to the population. Secondly, collaboration and cooperation, coordination within all the forces, all different actors. And thirdly, action. Action how? Action exactly when it is necessary on the ground. We can take the example of the crisis we are facing now in the northern Sudan, so that we have to act within different components.
Their training is in the field of security studies as far as international security and peacekeeping missions are concerned.
In the framework of the study trip of the 7th batch of the higher degree on security studies, this delegation is made by 25 trainees coming from 4 African countries.
With these skills, they are expected to be holistic and know exactly what to do and how to do it after graduation and integration.
And civil society leaders are encouraging young people to adopt the problem-solving mentality. The thing is going to be the door opener, the solution to the many problems affecting different parts of the country. And this is why some of the young people are being trained by civil society leaders in the country's economic capital, Douala, in order to be able to put themselves together, bringing together ideas on how to solve problems in their respective communities. Charles Kamer reports.
Community organizing is a process where people who live in proximity to each other come together into an organization that acts in their shared self-interest. A process through which communities are helped to identify common problems or goals, mobilize resources, develop and implement strategies for reaching their collective goals set by getting people together, such as civil society leaders and entrepreneurs, to identify such problems. It is for this reason that humanitarian group known as On Ensemble have decided to organize a forum on community organizing, which started today in Douala from the 8th to the 9th of December. The forum is aimed at knowing the problems troubling citizens as far as development is concerned in our community.
Founder and CEO of Dennis Mickey Foundation. This community organizing forum that has brought together civil society actors from across the nation is very important because in Cameroon, as civil society, we work at different angles and our work is not consolidated. And one of the goals of the sustainable development is partnership for the goals. So this is a platform for civil societies to come together as actors from across the 10 regions of Cameroon and support each other and exchange from each other on how to build truly impactful activities that will change the problems we are facing in our community. As civil societies, we have challenges with access where there's exchange of wisdom and knowledge and experience and guidance and mentorship so that we can together find solutions to community problems as little as maybe lack of access to water.
A forum which discussed the engagement of citizens in community organizing, which entails the confidence of the citizens during capacity building, regular meetings and reunions within citizens in various communities, investigative information for a better society, which is primordial to the security of justice and media organs. On Ensemble, in English parlance, we are together, expects people to embrace this initiative for a better society and a more proactive community.
Police in Ghana says that 5 people have been killed in election violence. Police sources say there were 21 cases of electoral violence across the country, including several shooting incidents. And the main opposition presidential candidate in Ghana's elections has denied reports that he conceded after later circulated falsely claiming that he did so. John Mahama's National Democratic Congress has said the letter, which bears the party's logo and is apparently authored by him, is fake, and the letter says the results so far do not give John Mahama any tangible pathway to the presidency. It congratulates incumbent Nana Akufo-Addo. Mr. Mahama said he has not congratulated anybody. Take a listen. C'est quoi?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me thank the media for responding to our call at such short notice, and to thank the people of Ghana for what has been an exciting election. I want to state categorically and firmly that I've not congratulated any person. No attempt should be made to steal this election. We will resist it. We thank the Ghanaian people for the confidence they've expressed in us. It's clear the Ghanaian people want a change in this country. Ghanaians are tired of Akufo-Addo and his government. We thank the electorate for giving us a working majority in Parliament, 140 seats in Parliament, which is a majority. And no attempt should be made to subvert that. I've looked at the results we've collated so far, and I'm excited, I'm happy with the results. And we won in 10 regions out of 16, and the Ghanaian people have expressed confidence in us. We would resist any attempt to subvert the will of the people. Some of what is happening is unacceptable, and Nana Akufo-Addo continues to show credentials that are very undemocratic. You cannot use the military to try and overturn some of the results in constituencies that we have won. And so we will resist any attempt to subvert the sovereign will of the Ghanaian people. The right thing must be done. We've collated our results, and we thank the Ghanaian people for the confidence they have in us. And we will give further details later. But we thank you very much.
Scientists around the world continue making progress as far as the coronavirus vaccine is concerned. In Germany, vaccination centers are waiting government's green light to roll out jabs. Euronews.
Just a couple of weeks, this Berlin arena will be transformed into one of 6 vaccination centers in the German capital. Every day, more than 3,400 people will pass through its doors to be immunized against COVID-19. Inside, construction is already underway. The vaccination will be administered in one of 80 cubicles like these. Then, a 30-minute wait. The second shot coming 21 days later. Berlin Health Senator Dilek Kalici says the centre will initially be in action for 4.5 months for the first phase of vaccinations.
Phase 1 should primarily take place in vaccination centres because this vaccine, which we expect to be used, is complex and requires special storage conditions. This means that vaccinations in the usual health system won't be possible.
The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine needs to be stored at -70 degrees Celsius. It will be kept in a secret location before being transported here. The €200 million project will also need the help of some 3,000 staff members across Berlin's 6 centres. Project leader Albrecht Brömer designed the blueprint for the centres using nothing other than Lego.
The Lego was a mechanism to make the idea a reality. I built the vaccination booths with Lego on 4 Lego panels. Then I built a consultation area at the front, the entrance and exit, a first aid point and a logistical base for storage. And this basic idea can now be seen here.
The first people expected to be vaccinated here are health workers and people from high-risk groups, who will be contacted individually by post.
The letters are ready, the facilities are ready. We can send out the invitations at the push of a button. We also have an appointment system. That means via a call centre or hotline, but appointments can be made online. We are, of course, also relying on the willingness of Berliners to be vaccinated.
A mammoth task lies ahead, but all that's needed now is the government's green light to fill the empty shelves and begin vaccinating against COVID-19. Kate Brady, Euronews, Berlin.
In sports, former Cameroon international footballer Pierre-Achille Awebo suffers racism. He was insulted by technical staff of the Turkish side, and he was insulted by a Romanian official, Sebastian Montesco, who called him a negro, and a scene which has ignited a widespread of reactions from across the board. And that incident led to the postponement of the UEFA Champions League match between Paris Saint-Germain and Istanbul Besiktas. And of course that encounter was postponed today. Charles Kmer reports.
A tackle from Presnel Kipembe on a player from Istanbul Besiktas, and the club's reserve bench firmly protests against the referee, who had already sanctioned 2 players from the team. The referee went on to sanction some staff on the reserve bench, and that's when his fourth assistant, Sebastian Kotelsko, addressed Pierre-Achille Awebo, who is part of the technical staff of the team, as Negro. The former Indomitable Lion, who had just received a red card, was protesting against the racist term and derogatory language in a professional environment. The match is quickly interrupted, and Demba Ba, one of the players in the club, goes to the fourth assistant demanding explanations on why he had to call Achille Awebo Negro. The players from both clubs returned to the dressing room, and the match is officially stopped due to racist actions. The match has been reprogrammed by UEFA this Wednesday with new referees. Reacting to this outrage, Kylian Mbappe writes on his Twitter account, "No to racism. Mr. Awebo, you have our support." a widespread of reactions as the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, writes on his Twitter account saying, "We are condemning the racist actions on Pierre Webo, member of the technical staff of Besaxi, and we think necessary measures should be taken by UEFA." Joseph Antoine Bell also condemns the actions of Sebastian Kotelsku and salutes the heroic decisions of the players who all left the pitch. UEFA has opened investigations and the Romanian Sebastian Kotelsku might be in serious trouble, probably a sanction which might go up to 5 years of suspension and a possible dismissal.
That's it for today's edition of the news. Thank you for staying with us. Equinoxe is up next.